Hi, welcome to Flory Models Daily Vlog. Here we are Monday the 11th of April 2016, and today I've been working on the Dreamliner, which we haven't been working on the 787 for a while through obviously various illnesses that have been going on, so it's nice to be back doing it. Now this particular one, we actually use flat white paint on this, and what I've done is I buffed it, okay, which gives you a very nice solid white and everything else like that. I've got to do the bottom sides of the wings yet, but at the top we used basically Flory Models buffer, shameless plug I know, but basically blue side, white side, no problem going right the way through. The only thing I did though, and you might be able to see down here, hopefully that camera will play ball in a second, there we go. The only thing we did, I don't know if you can see it, got a little black spot just down on here. Now this is because the airbrush wasn't clean, and as I was actually spraying the the white paint on here, what happened was that basically it flecked, as I call it. It was a fleck inside the airbrush. It came out, went down. Because I'm spraying though, I sprayed white paint right the way over it, so it hid it. What it left it with though was a tiny little bit in the paint, and when I polished it, lo and behold, it was black underneath, and we've cut right the way through. Now from this point of view, it doesn't actually matter, because literally all we're going to do is we are going to paint right over the top of this with the blue. Okay, so that's not so much of a problem, but it's one of those really annoying little things. So anyway, what I did was, because I still had the live setup and all the rest of it, I quickly shot a little video just about how we fixed it. Okay, quick little tip for you, something that I've, obviously speaking about you doing white paint and all the rest of it, is to make sure your airbrush is completely clear. Now, I'll be honest with you, I've got to do a little bit of touch-up work on this one. We've been around with a polishing sponge, we've, taken care of a few little bits and pieces, but something I wanted to speak about was that you think your airbrush is clean, but when you're painting white, all hell can go loose. Okay, basically what happened was I thought, right, we'll give this a good clean out, everything be running. I put thinners through it, it's blowing clear and all the rest of it, and then I just noticed a tiniest little fleck come out with it. So I thought, right, okay, well, we'll have a bit of a check and everything else like that. So if I get a clean bit of towel, I can show you. Switch cameras right here. What we've actually got, obviously I've got the airbrush dismantled. I've got a little bit of, to be honest, this is X20A that I just put in a squirty bottle because it makes it easier. Okay, two things. Now, as I said, this was totally clean. First of all is the needle. So there we go, classic example. This I thought was clean. You can see you've got this black. Okay, so that is going to be a little bit of a hiccup when you're working your way through. The big one though, to be honest, is this. Now this is our nozzle. Okay, this is a reamer, and to make sure this is totally clean, because it's everything else on there. Okay, so that is now totally clean. All right, so we've got a clean bit of tissue just to show. And if I just drop this top cam down just a little bit and bring you in close, you can see exactly what we've got. Okay, in we go. Bearing in mind this has had thinners going through it, and I thought it was clean and everything else. Okay, ready? No. It's not. All right, so this is what you need to do. Okay, when you're in a situation, all right, and you're going to be in there and you're going to be spraying white and all things like that, catch up, what you want to do is make sure your nozzle is completely clean, because what's going to happen is at some point your airbrush is going to cough and spit. Okay, now as soon as it spits something, it might not even be that noticeable, to be honest. All right, but what's happened is I've done a little bit of cleanup work, as I say, on this guy, and you might notice this. Okay, now this was just underlying in the paint, okay, and I thought it was a little bit of a white lump or a speck or something down in there, but when we've been going around with our polisher, and as you can see, we're looking very shiny in here, and to be honest, this is a lovely glossy finish and everything else like that, it went straight through it. Actually, that's black paint that was hidden. There was a little bit of a bump, but this is what it is, and I think it's because it's out of situation like this. It's in the nozzle and it's spat it out onto here. It's been overcoated, all right, with other white paint gone along, and then we've gone along, but that's actually black dirt in the paint, which I think has come from the nozzle. Now, as I said, we are going to be speaking about this in a few weeks' time and talking about paint, keeping everything clean and nice and everything else, but this is the way I do it. Okay, we're going to brush, all right, we're going to load our nozzle, few drips down in there like that, and then we're going to come in with this long brush, and you can see the bristles don't even go right the way through, but look, here we go. This is how much black and nasties and everything else is down in here, and as you say, we've got some of it, half the bristles going down in there, and look at that. And this is the trouble we've got. Well, you think your airbrush is clean and all of that, But there we go. Horrible. It's not as clean as you imagine. So if you're spraying something like grey or camos and all the rest of it, you don't have to worry about this. But obviously you get into here and you can have all types of problems, all right? Because we've got black in here. Now there is various things on the market you can get, to be honest. I should have here, he says, somewhere. I did have here the correct cleaning brushes and various things for it, which are, yeah, all right. So you can actually get these, all right. Now these are really good because what you've actually got is a situation with a bit of a tighter nozzle at one and a long bit here. Now the idea with this is this can go up into your airbrush, okay, and you can shove it up that end, but also you can do it in here as well. So this will go up and into the area and everything else. Now as you say, this is dirty as well because I am not the best at cleaning, but it's something, as I say, we'll be talking about in a few weeks. But we basically give that a bit of a clean, and then we come in with this guy and we go in, and this brush will really rake the inside and get it out. And you can see the flecks on my finger. This is what we're talking about. This is all the nasties, and what it is, it's dried paint. And then what happens is you activate it, and perhaps because it's totally dry paint, that what can happen is it can sit inside your nozzle, and then as all that thinner and paint's going through, it just detaches it and takes a little bit with it. Okay, but you can see all these little crusty bits hopefully on the cloth and everything else like that. But you really just need to flush this through, make sure it's all clean and clear. All right, so you can come in with your needle, literally pointy end of your needle, and just give it a run round. And then what you want to do is just drag it and let the thinners flow through. And again, still getting tiny bits out as you're making your way along, but we're just trying to get all of that out. It's down there, most of it, and then what we can actually do is just pop it back together. So we're just going to put the nozzle down to here on the end. Okay, needle in the back. It should slip through very, very easy. Do that up a little bit. Okay, oh, would help. Wonder why that dropped through so easy. Would help if we had a trigger. Okay. Somebody the other day asked me, this can be any way round. You can have the curve towards the front, or you can actually turn it round and have it towards the back. It's personal choice, because somebody had one round the other way. Take that back section out. Okay, seat that in. Quick tip, hold it back, screw it in, and then you'll notice it will just drop straight in. Pull it back on. Long-winded way of doing it, I know. Needle. Glides through to the front. There should be no real friction. I'll just put the end guard back on. We're just going to move the plane. Some out. Okay. And then what we're going to do, just going to put a bit in, we're just going to blow through here, maximum air pressure and all the rest of it. Still a few little bits coming through. Tiny bit more, so a little. Still tiny bits coming through, okay, and we're just trying to blow out those little cruddy bits. There we go. This is maximum air pressure, maximum pull, everything, and that way you end up with a nice clean airbrush just like that. Okay, just something a little bit extra. I'm filming, to be honest, doing the airliner at the moment, and I thought, right, we'll give it a polish up, we'll make it look like a mirror, then we'll get the next coat on. And as I say, I've put this little spot down on here, so I thought I'd share it with you guys, obviously whilst I'm filming the other show. So there we go. Always make sure your airbrush is clean. At the end of the day, you can spend as much time as you like having a perfect finish and everything else like that. It takes one speck to ruin your model. Okay, so it's well worth taking your time, making sure it's all good and everything else. The other thing as well, never leave thinners on your bench, because you'll do what I do. You put your plane onto it, soft thinners, soft paint, not a good answer. Okay, so there we go. See, he does know what he's talking about sometimes. Yeah, it's one of those things. I am the worst guy for doing painting and various bits and pieces like that. I don't strip down my airbrush very often. I usually do it when it's not working. And various things, I've got in a really bad habit. And as I say, not probably next week, week after, I'm going to do like a week-long series about painting, setting up your airbrush, proper paint mixing, care of your paint, right the way through to thinners, and then obviously into your airbrush, spraying paint to various bits and pieces, and then coming from the other side of it, cleaning your airbrush properly after every single use, and various things like that, because I am being stung big time these days. Doesn't help now, I've got multiple airbrushes. How many have you got there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 airbrushes. What happens is I am the worst, because if an airbrush is not working, I'll just grab another one. And then that one gets bits in it and dried, not used for a couple of weeks, come in and all the rest of it. So where it used to be just 1 or 2 airbrushes, and I used to use those said airbrushes all the time, now, you know, that means they're soft and they clean out easy, all the rest of it. Now they tend to dry out and go a little bit harder. I'm probably in the real world, if you like. But anyway, we're going to talk about that. Probably not next week, but the week after. I'm going to do a series, little shows and various bits and pieces involving the vlogs, live shows, Q&As and everything else like that. And it's all going to be about paint and paint mixes and airbrushes and things like that. Anyway, Dreamliner. The next part of that is up now. It's going to get you roughly to here, and then obviously we talk about that little bit of incident in there. We also talk about doing the pinstripe down here and about it. So the great thing about, I get an opportunity to do a proper on test as well, live so to speak, about using this stuff. Now this is the Tamiya bendy tape. This is 3M. It's exactly the same stuff, apart from you pay a fortune for the Tamiya one and don't get as much as you do on the old 3M rolls. It does exactly the same, it's the same thickness. The only drawback to this stuff is you can't see on white, so thank God I had 3M stuff, but it is the same, and I'd say 3M stuff is quarter of the price, I think it is, of the Tamiya stuff. It's basically flexible masking tape, put in pinstriping tape, and it's what they use on automotives, on aircraft for doing basically what we're doing here for masking. Now, the problem I've had with this, as you can probably see, is like this side is my perfect side that I did on film, and you're going to see in this particular part of the build, and I show about it, is trying to mirror the other side. Because it's a flexible curve and all the rest of it, I'm trying to do it, and it's really hard because I think it's perfect, and you look at it on its own and you think, yeah, that's very good, no problem. Then you go like that, and then you do that, okay? And you're looking at it and you're thinking, it's not symmetrical on the top. One line comes in at one area, off a little bit more, and then you look at it from the front, and actually I think I've nailed the front now, that's pretty straight, no problem at all. But down here I look at the back again, and as you can probably see, there's definitely an area I've got to redo. But if I put it like this, as you can see, this tape is only just visible to you guys on the camera. This one is a lot more. You can even see a little bit of white. This needs to go down a little bit down there. But the other areas like the front, we've pretty much nailed. But as you can see on the top again, oh, he says jamming his watch. As you can see, it's not symmetrical. This side is perfect. This is one I did on camera. This I'm trying to sort of do at the same time, and it's not exactly working out brilliant, all right? So I'm down to that stage now where I've actually got the calipers out, and I'm measuring and trying to go round to get it exactly the same as the other side. But needless to say, it's a long old job, and it would be worth it in the end, but it's just trying to get it to be right at the moment and everything else like that. So anyway, the next part of that is up there now. It's part 3, and as I said, it talks about doing the white work, polishing the white work, and then we talk about this, and this is how I do my custom color mixes. As I said, I'm not going to go out and spend, you know, sort of 3 or 4 quid per pot on paint by the time you got postage and all the rest of it for painting a tail. Okay, so I am that tight. So what I actually do is I make up a color swatch, and we do per brush full, and I write down to 1:1, and then this is 2 parts white, 3 parts white, 4 parts white, to roughly work out how it is before I make the jump of actually making up a proper batch. Okay, and that's how I do it. So I get roughly in the ballpark with the colour that I need, and then obviously for this sort of blue that we've got down here on the Thompson one, it's actually 3-tone blue because the tail's a lot lighter than the body, and then you've got the blue on top. But I'm pretty sure that X4 blue is the blue for the top, because when I did a little swatch of it, seemed to be perfect, and we're not that far out with X14, just needed to be lightening it up. So I'm basically thinking it actually works out at 1 part of the blue, of the light blue, to 4.5 parts, see, that technical, of the actual one for the correct light blue on it. So I'm just trying to work out though to get this masked up, and then as soon as we've got that done, we can actually get that in, get the underside all masked off and completely protected, get the wings protected, and then we're going to come in light blue right the way over it, light blue on the tail, And then we can mask all of that off and come in with the easy job, which to be honest, which is the X4, get that in, okay, get it unmasked, then we're going to polish it, and then we're going to lacquer it, and then we're going to actually do the metal work, which we're probably going to use bare metal foil because we haven't used it before properly on any big projects, so I thought we'd give that a whirl. I've got some down there, and then we can do the metal work all on it, and then it'd be a case of decaling various things, and then we can get the engines fitted, and then we can think about the stand it's going to go on and everything else like that, and then we can do the windows, and jobs are good, and we'll be all the way through. So it's just a long, tedious job because you're having to polish and make sure the paint's perfect and everything else. And now we're trying to do pinstriping freehand and all those different areas like that. But it's going to be well worth it in the end. It's coming together absolutely lovely and thoroughly enjoying it. So there we go, that's about it for today. As you say, plenty going on. Q&A tomorrow. I've got a lot of questions still to catch on. I know we did a lot last Tuesday, but if you have got any questions for me, pop it into my section in the actual live show area, the Ask Phil, and we'll get in there. I don't know if Steve's joining me tomorrow or not. I'll find out if he is. He'll be with us, and then we're going to record it in the afternoon, and then obviously it'll be up at 5 o'clock as normal. So there we go, that's it from me. Happy modelling, take care.